everyone. So this is my long anticipated eyebrow video. This video has been requested many times ever since I started my channel, and I've wanted to put this together for a long time, and this has actually been several months in the making. Every time I go to make an eyebrow video, I always end up just deleting it, just because I feel like eyebrows are a very touchy subject, and a lot of people get really offended when they're talking about their eyebrows, or somebody else talks about their eyebrows, and it just seems like a really touchy subject. So I finally put my video together. I hope you guys like it. Just a little disclaimer, anything that I talk about in this video is my personal opinion on eyebrow grooming or maintenance or filling your eyebrows in. Everything is just my personal opinion, so if you don't agree with it, if you do your eyebrows the exact opposite than what I talk about and it looks good on you, then good for you, that's awesome. This is just how I feel. I'm going to talk about the way that I groom my own eyebrows and the way that I think that is the most flattering way to have your eyebrows appear on your face. So let's go ahead and get into it. I am going to talk about the products that I use for my own eyebrows, and everything is pretty much just exclusively Anastasia Beverly Hills. I feel like ever since I've started using her products, my eyebrows, my situation is way better. I was using just like drugstore products for my eyebrows before because I just never felt like it was that big of a deal to use higher end products, and now that I've tried her products, I'm never going to go back. I think that they are extremely high quality. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the products that I use. Usually I kind of go back and forth. One day I'll do a pencil and another day I'll do a pomade. So when I'm doing the pencil, I use the Brow Wiz pencils, and what I like to do is take the brunette color and I use that to fill the outer tail of my eyebrow out, and then I'll take the color, it used to be soft brown but now it's medium brown, and I'll take that and fill in the inner corner because in my opinion, if you want a more natural looking eyebrow, then the darker color goes on the outside and a more ashy, slightly lighter color goes on the inside. And it actually seems like it's a common misconception that if you want your eyebrows to look more natural, you do the darker color on the inside, but I think that if you do the darker color on the outside, then it gives kind of like an ombre effect, and it looks more natural that way. So that's what I like to do. I like to mix the two different colors. So dark color on the outside, ashy, lighter color on the inside. So like I mentioned, if I'm not using the Brow Wiz, I like to use the Dip Brow Pomade, and I actually have two different colors because I'll use one or the other depending on what I want my look to be for that day. I use the colors chocolate and dark brown, and they're actually fairly similar. One's just darker than the other, and so if I want a more dramatic brow, then I'll go with a darker color. And regardless of which one I'm using, I will fill out the outer tail and then once again go in with the ashier color Brow Wiz and fill in that inner corner. So I usually go to right about here or so, and I'll just do this entire inner edge with the ashier color when I'm using the pomade. So with these, you can use pretty much any angled brush to apply it. I don't use the Anastasia Beverly Hills brush to apply it. I will use either a Sigma small angled brush. You can see it's just a little teeny tiny angled brush, or I have pretty much two of the Coastal Scents angled brushes, and they're the same thing. They're just like a quarter of the price. Something that I think is important to consider when you are done with your eyebrows, when you put whatever product in that you're going to put, I think it's important to follow it up with a gel. And with the gel, it's basically just going to hold the hairs in place. And so as long as you haven't completely trimmed your eyebrows so the hairs are extremely short, then I would definitely recommend a gel because it's just going to hold it still, and it's also going to help keep the actual color product in place all day long. So I use her clear brow gel, and this is the best one that I've ever tried. It's seriously like super glue. It keeps them in place all day long. They don't move. They're kind of hard when you put it on when it dries, but I honestly like that feeling because I feel like my brows are not going anywhere. Because if they do go somewhere, then we're going to have a problem because obviously I have dark hair. This is not my natural hair color. My natural hair color is blonde, and my eyebrows are very light ashy blonde. So if you've watched any of my prior videos before I have any makeup on, you know like my eyebrows are invisible. So if my eyebrow color goes somewhere, we're gonna have a problem. Anyway, I would definitely recommend finishing up with a brow gel. I use the clear just because I really like the colors of the product that I put on the eyebrow, so I don't feel like I need to change that at all. She also has some colored brow gels, and they have a little bit of a shimmer in it too, so it really adds some dimension. And so if you have very sparse eyebrows, those are good to use as well because it will look like your hairs are thicker. And so if you, back in the day when plucking your eyebrows all the way out was super cool, if you did that and your eyebrows never grew back and you pretty much have to draw them on every single day, then a colored gel would work great for you. Something that I don't personally use because I don't really need to, but Benefit makes something called Gimme Brow, and it's a little brow gel. It's colored and it has fibers in it that attach to your hairs. It's kind of like the false fiber mascara that make your eyelashes like crazy long. It's the same thing, but it's for eyebrows. And so even if you have little teeny tiny sparse eyebrows, you can brush the gel on and the little fibers will cling to your hairs, making it look like you have fuller brows. Okay, now that we've talked about the fun, exciting part, the products, I'm now going to talk about maintaining your brows, plucking, trimming, and all that other touchy stuff that everybody gets offended by. So if anything that I say you don't agree with or you're offended, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to offend you. I'm just trying to help a sister out. So girl, if you do not like my technique, then you don't have to use it. You don't have to agree with it. It's just what I like to do. So here we go. Honestly, if you're not comfortable doing your own eyebrows, don't be afraid to go see somebody that does eyebrows. Go see your eyebrow lady. If you have really thick eyebrows and you're not sure how to shape them, or you're afraid to do it yourself, you can go see an eyebrow person one time. They can shape them for you, and you can just take your tweezers. Once your eyebrow hairs start to grow back in, you can just pluck them out one by one by yourself at home, and then you can at least maintain the shape that way. However, if you do not want to see an eyebrow lady and you just want to do everything yourself, that's totally cool. One thing that's really flattering is take a brush. This is just my little Sigma brush. Find the tip of your nose, keep the pencil straight up, and that's where your eyebrow should align, right on the edge of this pencil. So if it's right up against the tip of your nose, straight up, and that's where the eyebrow should start. If the eyebrow starts any further in than that, you'll tend to actually look cross-eyed. So if your eyebrows come in any further than that line right there, it's very rare that bringing your eyebrows in further than that is really going to be flattering. It can bring your eyes in this way, make you kind of, so not something I would recommend. Now to find out where your eyebrow should end, once again take that little brush and set it on the edge of your nose, align it with the edge of your eye, the very, very corner, and right where that brush continues up, that's where the eyebrow should stop, right there. That's the most flattering area. Now if you want it to look a little bit more dramatic, you can always extend that tail a little bit longer, and that's okay as long as your eyes don't come really far out, because then basically the corner of your eye is going to meet your eyebrow. But yep, so
now that we figured out the shape that we want our eyebrows in, another important step is actually trimming your eyebrows. And I like to take this metal comb and these small Sally Hansen scissors that I got from the drugstore. I think they were like $4. And then I'll take the comb and brush my eyebrow hairs upward. Once I have those all brushed upward, I'm going to start trimming. What I'll do is basically just gather those hairs in the comb and then trim off the ends. And basically any hairs that are above the upper eyebrow line are going to get trimmed off. Same thing, brushing downward. Any eyebrow hairs that are below the lower eyebrow line are also going to get trimmed off. And you'd be surprised how much less you actually need to tweeze your eyebrows when you trim them like this. And next we're going to talk about applying your actual eyebrow product. And this is the Dip Brow Pomade that I like to use, and these are the two different colors. You can see they're pretty similar. And I'll take my flat angled brush and dip that into the product once, maybe twice per eyebrow. It really doesn't take very much product. And you can see I start on the lower edge of the eyebrow and start working backward with the product, and I also work upward. I like to disperse the product evenly throughout the outer 2/3 of that eyebrow. And then I'll start to find the shape that I want. I pretty much just go by the natural shape of my eyebrow. And then find wherever you want your arch to be. I would recommend it to be near the edge, the outer edge of your eye. And just start filling that in the way that you want. And you can see it starts to get thinner on the tail. And the tail is very pointy. It's not rounded at all. And then just going in and cleaning up those lines a little bit. And then normally, like I mentioned, I use the ashier color on the inner corner, but I just want to show you what it's like just to use the one product to fill in your brow. Then once I've pretty much found the shape that I want, totally optional, but you can take a concealer. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills concealer. And take that on a flat definer brush, just like this one. And it's flat on the top and it's very skinny. And dip that in the concealer and use that to outline the eyebrow. Like I mentioned, this is totally optional. It just will help you clean up your lines. If you didn't get very straight lines, this will help with that. And also, if you really want your eyebrows to stand out, you can use this lighter color type concealer, and that will really help them pop. So just basically outline the outer edges of your eyebrows. And then blend them in. You can use a brush, but I just prefer to use my finger. Honestly, I don't think it takes a brush to do this part. And then use the little bit more pomade just to cover up any concealer that may have gotten on the hairs. And then finally, just go in with some brow gel and set them that way. I like to start from the front and comb the gel backward. And then once I've coated the brow, I like to go back to the front of the eyebrow and start brushing the hairs upward. And then take the top of those hairs and brush them backward. And this will basically create some texture and dimension with the eyebrow, make it look a little bit more natural, like you actually have eyebrow hairs, versus just having an eyebrow painted on your face. And I just wanted to show you real quick, this is the Brow Wiz. On one side it has this little spoolie brush to help work the product through your eyebrow. And on the other end, it's just a very, very thin little eyebrow pencil. It's very high quality, and I recommend it if you haven't tried it.
So that's gonna do it for my eyebrow video, you guys. I hope you learned something today, and if not, I hope you at least enjoyed watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and you could also let me know what you thought in the comments. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at TheBeautyFixation1. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I will see you next time. Bye!